Hi, everyone. I'm Bryan Finster, the Value Stream Architect for Defense Unicorns. If you want to know how to do continuous delivery on a submarine, you should probably talk to us. I'm also a maintainer of minimumcd.org, where we try to demystify continuous delivery. And today I'd like to talk to you about how platforms, when done correctly, can be major enablers of organizational improvement. So, first, what's the point of platform engineering? It's to help others deliver better. And if we lose sight of that, if we focus only on, hey, we're building cool tools, it's going to result in very poor outcomes. So there's some common struggles that I've seen around platform engineering. First is the, hey, here's tools we've decided you're going to use, go use them. Well, that'll definitely generate angry conversations, but it's not going to improve delivery at all. Or if we ignore operations at scale, if we build platforms in such a way where we don't focus first on how do we make them self-service, how do we make them easy to use, how do we improve the developer experience, provide good training, good documentation. If we don't do these things, if we have platform as a service ticket where we have to have heavy touch white glove interactions, we can scale ourselves out of existence. And the last one is one I hear very frequently is just lack of adoption. We built these cool things, but no one seems to want to use them. How do we get people to use them? Well, you need a strategy for that before you begin. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I want to present you with a case study of, real thing that I actually went through, which was how do we develop a global platform for a Fortune 1 company? So here was our state in 2016. More than 18,000 developers across the globe. We had all the languages and frameworks, just all of them. We had dozens of legacy delivery methods, anything from open source tools like Jenkins to homegrown solutions that have been around for a couple of decades, commercial products, and even just we're going to build it locally in FTP to prod. And we had very commonly across the organization releases every quarter with a lot of drama in every single one, late nights, scheduled war rooms 24/7. It was lots of fun. But we also had some promising pockets around continuous delivery in the previous couple of years where we managed to show that we could deliver high quality at very small change all the time, multiple times a day, and not only improve business outcomes, but also improve team morale. And so we had a CTO who came on board who said, you know what we're going to do is we're going to use continuous delivery as the method for improving everything about the organization. Because one of the things we learned on these CD pilots was it wasn't automation. Yes, you had automation, but you had to improve everything in the entire value stream to really deliver that consistent, sustainable pace of very small changes multiple times a day. And so that was the goal, is use CD as the lever. Because solving that problem, that very big challenge of I need every team to go to production daily, means that they have to solve all the other little problems throughout, and some of the big problems throughout their entire flow. They had to be better at engineering, learn how to do evolutionary development. They also had to do better at product. And that was ultimately the goal, and we saw a lot of success with that. But to get there, first we needed to come up with a global platform that would support that and encourage those behaviors. So that's what we decided to build. Now, first, this federated model we had, people had entrenched usages out there, and if you want people to adopt, it has to be easier and better than what they have. It needed to be self-service because, again, we needed to make sure that we had sustainable operations. We needed good training and support because we're bringing them new tools. We can't just say, here's the tools, good luck. They wouldn't adopt. And we also needed the platform to be opinionated around those enterprise goals to make sure that we made continuous delivery the easiest possible way to deliver. And that we didn't eliminate everybody else and say, well, if you're not doing CD, you can't deliver. But if you had a complicated branching structure you're using, it was going to be a lot of toil to use the platform. If you're using trunk-based development, it was not going to be any toil to use the platform. Same with, we have long release cycles and versioned release branches we have to maintain. That's a thing that you go through while you start working through the process of how do we do this a little bit better. But it's harder work to use the platform that way. It's much easier to use it in a way. It's like we're delivering very frequently straight from the head of trunk. And when I say was opinionated about CD, we also presented people with dashboards to show how they were doing. Now, these dashboards had two purposes. I mean, number one, the most important one, honestly, is that this pipeline is green, that a team can see that each one of their pipelines is green and that they're deployable. But also, we added gamification to the dashboards to show people how they were doing against the goals of continuous delivery. You get high star ratings for things like we have branches that last less than 24 hours. We have everyone on the team is integrating code very frequently. We have code that has tests, has low tech debt. The build is stable and fast. We're deploying very frequently. And then we'd show them, it's like, okay, this is what good looks like. And you are here to encourage people to progress more and more frequently to good. And that was also very successful. And it led us to developing other methods of training people on not just here's how to use the tools, but here's how to use the tools effectively. But none of that would have mattered if we built it and nobody used it. So we started from day one with what is our adoption strategy going to be? Because without an adoption strategy, if you build the platform and say, now how do we get them to adopt it? We're building the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, probably building capabilities they don't need and not covering capabilities that they do. And so having that adoption strategy was core to the product development strategy of the platform. So what was that strategy? Well, one portion of that was, you know what? You have these Jenkins instances out there that you're operating in your area, VP. So what if we took over those Jenkins instances and we have the expertise in our area to operate those? We'll operate those for you, uh, along with the operational cost. You don't have to have people doing that. You don't have to pay for that effort. You can redirect those people to working on things that actually are part of your area's value delivery. And then work with those teams. Hey, what are you doing with these tools you're using now to deliver that our tools can't? And there's some cases where they were doing things we had to add features. Other times it was just six one, half dozen the other. So then we help migrate them over to our platform because ours is honestly easier to use. And then, try to shut down that legacy method that they had. Now, there's in some cases you'd have those people at the end who are like, oh, I'm too busy. I just like the way we have it. I just don't want to change. Well, and that's the thing. And you shouldn't have to change. And so what we'll do is we'll just return operational costs back to your VP, and your VP can make the decisions of how he wants to fund that, because we just really can't afford to operate this thing and provide all the support for one or two teams or three or four. You guys go figure that out. And what you would frequently see is the VP would suddenly figure out that there was time to help those people migrate. That hey, you guys should go ahead and migrate to the platform. That was very successful. But we also encouraged adoption, right? We had excellent documentation and training. And the training was always current with the latest feature releases because we just kept re-recording the training. And our documentation was current because our documentation was how we did level 0 support. If you needed help on something, you asked a question on one of our support channels, we direct you to where that answer was, the documentation. It also incentivized the security and compliance were incentives for using our platform because, hey, you know what? Keep using your old platform. That's fine. But our platform is up to par with security and compliance because we work closely with them to make sure that we are. And you can use your platform that you have, your old platform, but you need to be on parity with us. Or you can use ours and it's just easier and you get it for free. And then again, those people asking questions, how do I improve our scores with the metrics? Well, we started the DevOps Dojo and to show them this is how you do continuous delivery in your context with your application. And that also helped encourage adoption and also engagement with the community. Partnering with early adopters. There was people who were interested in the platform and wanted to really accelerate continuous delivery in their areas. And they worked with us for those first sets of features. And they became some of our strongest advocates, the people you could count on to go out and talk about how great our platform was. They'd have our stickers on their laptops. And we did road shows and DevOps events, bringing people together to talk about what we're trying to do as an organization. And not only building awareness around the platform, but also excitement around, hey, we are moving towards continuous delivery, and here's some good ways to get it done. And then working with the community. There was already a community of practice around CD based off of those pilots that have been started and the excitement around those. And we worked with that community with materially. We didn't just say, hey, good job, community. We gave them money for swag to help spread their message. And so then we developed a symbiotic relationship with them where they would help us with, honestly, even some of the support. You would see community members chiming in with answers on our support channels even before some of our team members could. So where were we 3 years later? Well, we had more than 85% of the organization on our platform. And we could tell because we had metrics to show how much of the organization was using it compared to how much of the organization existed. And in our community channels, and not ours, but the continuous delivery community, there was more than 2,000 developers engaged in those communities. You'd have special interest groups around subsets of continuous delivery, but also just continuous delivery as a whole. And it was an exciting conversation. It was going on. We had demand for the dojo, looking for either quick little help. Hey, how do I test this thing better, or how do I break this work down and deliver it in evolutionary changes better? All the way up to, hey, can you guys come and do a 6-week engagement with us to bootstrap us into continuous delivery? And the conversation was normalized. CD was no longer some sort of unicorn thing that only edge cases were trying to use. It was like, hey, we're all moving this way. And then leadership changed. And I cannot stress how important it was for this effort that the platform alone wasn't going to do the trick. It was the incentive, that challenge from up top, that our priority is how do we get everyone delivering to production every single day? And when we lost the leadership that was pushing that, and the message got diluted, and then you'd have people who had the ability to slide backwards who just didn't feel comfortable with what we were doing, pushing to slide backwards. And it made things stagnate. You'd have to have that push from the top. So, what were some lessons that we learned from this? Well, number one, branding was very important, and we took branding seriously. Our platform had a brand. Every single product within the platform had a brand. We pushed those brands. We talked about the brands. We had stickers. We had T-shirts. The teams formed around those brands. It became each one of the product teams in the platform. It became the banner they rallied around, and people recognized us for who we were. Documentation and training absolutely lowered operational overhead and became the primary method we used for customer support. Using CD to deliver CD, which is what we did, we also used our platform to deliver our platform. It allows us to dog food and build empathy with our users to experience whatever pain they're experiencing. Also gives us credibility that when we talk about continuous delivery, we know what we're doing. Here's how we do it ourselves. And the gamified metrics can be very effective. And I talk about this all the time. I would have done it slightly differently than if knowing what I know now. But it has to be accompanied with leadership training. If leadership doesn't understand the metrics, they will be misused and cause all sorts of unfortunate outcomes. So have a deliberate improvement strategy. Make sure that there's challenging problems people are trying to solve, that the platform is helping to enable those solutions. Make sure that you don't just supply tools and a challenge. make sure you have to have good methods for getting that done. So have recommended resources and workshops and work with the teams, and you can elevate the entire organization. But you must ensure there's active executive participation. It's not enough for someone in senior leadership to say, we need to make this change, and then step away and wait for it to happen. They have to be actively incentivizing it and being cheerleaders for it, or it will go nowhere. With that, here's a couple of links I captured for you. These are both articles I've written for IT Revolution. One is talking about it's a deeper experience report of things that lessons learned from this experience. It's pretty long, but it talks about everything, including platform engineering, that I feel you really need to have in place working together to achieve that holistic change. And then based off the experience with metrics, how to misuse and abuse DORA metrics. We're seeing this all over the industry where DORA metrics are being used in ways that they're not supposed to have been used for ever. And this suggests ways they should be used and other metrics that you should really also be paying attention to, if not more. And with that, again, I'm Bryan Finster. You can read some of my writings on rant.bryanfinster.com. You can reach me on LinkedIn or email me at brian.finster@defenseunicorns.com. And let's just compare notes. And Defense Unicorns, again, it's an amazing company. We're trying to keep the nation safe. You know, we make software delivery easy for the most secure systems in the world. And we really believe in the mission we're on. So I look forward to talking to you, and thanks very much.